Okay, you had some problems like this on your homework, which I will kind of give you more time on because I'm going to go over there and then you'll have some time to work on it in class a little bit. Now, here's the steps you have to follow, and I did this on the video. I worked it out, some of the problems to the homework. The first thing you have to do is always identify the angle that they want you to use trig with. It's the acute angle and never the right angle. So we're going to circle 32 because that's the angle. Then you label the parts in relationship to that angle. So 24 is the hypotenuse. X in relationship to this angle 32 is adjacent, okay? So when I identify the trig function, yes, it's cosine. So we write cosine, write this down, cosine, then the angle 32 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So that would be x, the ratio x over 24, okay? Now, to solve this, normally we have to set up a proportion, so we'll put this over 1. But the shortcut or the rule is, if x is on top, you multiply. If x is on bottom, you divide, okay? X is on top here. So to get the value of x, I'm just going to multiply these two parts together. I'm going to say 24 times the cosine of 32. And that's what I put in my calculator. So you would need to go to your calculator now, type in 24 times, 24 times, and then cosine of 32, and hit enter. Okay? Yeah, now, on here, they want us to round side lengths to the nearest tenth. So we're just going to round that to 20.4. So x equals 20.4. Okay? Now, please pay attention to this next one. The steps still are going to be the same. Identify the angle. Here, the angle is the x. Okay? Circle the angle. Label the parts in relationship to the angle. So 10 is what part? Yeah, 10 is adjacent. 16 is opposite. So you still do that. Now you got to determine which trig function deals with opposite and adjacent. Tangent. Now, I'm still going to write it like I would normally do. Tangent of x, because that's the angle, equals opposite 16 over adjacent 10. Now, because x is the angle that we're trying to find, we have to now use the inverse like we did before. Okay, so if x is inside the triangle and that's the part, the value you're trying to find, you use the inverse to solve it. Now this is what you would write. X equals the inverse, tan inverse of just 16 over 10. And this is what we'll put into the calculator. So on the calculator, I would go to trig, but now go to tangent inverse, and then just say 16 divided by 10, hit enter. Yeah. We're going to round it to the nearest whole number, it'll be 58. So the angle measure is 58 degrees. Are we okay on there? Yes. All right, so what do we do when x is on top? Multiply. If x is on the bottom? If x is inside the triangle? Inverse. Okay, so let's look at the next one real quick. All right, so yes, this is going to be inverse. So if you identify it, that it will be inverse, you can start skipping steps a little bit. You still got to label your parts in relationship to the angle. So 21 is the hypotenuse. 17 is what? Adjacent. Okay, so what trig function deals with, and since we know we're going to do the inverse, so notice this. Yeah, since we know we're going to do the inverse, you could just go straight to cosine inverse of adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 17 over 21. And that's what the value of x would be. Yeah. 36, right? 36 degrees. Okay. All right, now we're going to make sure you can set up the next one, and then we're going to talk about no picture and problem solving. So I know 37 is the angle, but you see how in this triangle the parts are not labeled, but it's a rectangle? So I know over here has to be x as well. And then the horizontal distance up here will also be 18. Okay, so now we have x is in relationship to the angle opposite. 18 in relationship to the angle is adjacent. So now we do have tangent. So the tangent of 37 equals opposite over adjacent. X is where? On top, so you do what? Multiply, okay? Okay. Now, I'm going to let you do that one. And I'm going to start drawing the pictures for the next two. Yeah, 13.6 is correct. Okay. Now, you are going to be given problems that you would have to draw a diagram and label the diagram to match the scenario. 13, look, it says a 24-foot ladder leans up against a building forming an 18 degrees angle with the side. So 18 degrees angle with the side of the building. Everyone understand this is my ladder with the little, okay, this has to be the side of the building. So the 18 has to be up here between the hypotenuse and the vertical side. Okay? How far is the base of the ladder to from the base of the building? So, okay, but what distance are they trying to find? The base. The base would be here, right? Does everyone agree? This would be the base. This is the base of the building. Base of the. All right. So this is my unknown. All right. So angle, opposite, hypotenuse. Yes, we're using sine. So we have the sine of 18 degrees equals the opposite over hypotenuse. Yeah. See if you could draw the picture for 14. Okay. The road rises 10 feet for every 400 feet along the pavement. What is the measurement of the angle formed with the horizontal? All right. This one, everyone agree at 7.4? All right, so it says the road rises 10 feet for every 400 feet along the pavement. So along the pavement, 400 feet, that would have to be horizontal. And it rises 10 feet, so that's vertical. What is the measurement of the angle the road forms with the horizontal? So this is what we're trying to find here. If I look, this would be opposite, and this is adjacent. We're trying to find the angle. So now we have to do what? Since we're finding the angle. Got to do the inverse, okay? So tangent inverse, because tangent deals with opposite and adjacent, of 10 over 400. And that's what you put in your calculator. Round to the nearest degree. Whole number, it's 1 degree. Okay? Or 1. Because I know it's 1.4, but it's just going to be 1. We can't round it up. Are we good on that? All right, so you had to, I'm not really worried about number 5 or 6. I'm going to come by and check your puzzle at the end. But 7, the even, I would definitely do those right now because we're going to check right or wrong for that. So if you have not worked on those and you need your calculator to do your trig functions, you need to do that now. 7, no, page 7 and 8 even.